Hello. So let me see who's here. Donna, hello. Carol, good morning. Sharon, good morning. Carolyn, good morning. Patty, good morning. Stevie, good morning. All right, so here we are. Yoga for Osteoporosis. For those of you that were with me on Tuesday in my class that I teach for the hospital, I started doing 3 poses and in chunks because I find that often we're looking for what can we do every day, right? And we're not always going to take an hour out to do a practice. But if you think about really committing to 3 deep postures or any postures, whether they're deep or not, like whatever the intention is, I think that that could be a really nice way to create a practice. So I'd like to continue with that theme. On Tuesday, I did a lot of the standing up practices or postures, and I'm not sure how you all were feeling. If you want to let me know. Hi, Lynn. I will tell you that what I noticed for myself was my back, like postural muscles. And it made me just realize that when we do the standing postures, when we bring our arms up like this, it's not just casually throwing them up. It really is a lot of muscular action. And if you keep pushing your arms back when you're doing the standing postures, there's so much postural support that takes place as well. So today we'll definitely focus a little bit more on they're strengthening and lengthening postures, definitely some of the stuff that we do on the ground. So if anybody wants to comment before I go back, you can, but once I'm back there, forget it. I cannot see. So I'll wait a second if you want to say anything. And then, all right. So here we go. Back to my post. All right. Okay. So today's practice, a little bit more in the positions we'll be in today would be on our belly, which is called prone, and on our back, which is called supine, and in a seated position, which is seated, and then on all fours. So those are the different body positions we'll put ourselves in today, and I'll explain a little bit about what each posture does, or maybe even before that. But really the intention for us when it comes to bone health is we're either pushing or pulling on our bones. We're either stretching or compressing. And sometimes we're doing both, and some of the postures have more aspects to them. And so depending on what that is. And I think it's important to try all of them and then to see how they feel. And then we are going into each one for 30 seconds. And so when you come in for 30 seconds, that gives you this opportunity to just really focus your mind, stay as long as you can in that moment, creating as much stimulation as you can, wherever it is on the body that we are creating stimulation. Okay, so for today's practice, please get a blanket. Let's get a blanket. Let's get a block and a strap. And let's take the block and the strap and push the block and the strap off to the side. And then we'll take the blanket actually. And because a lot of what we do on the ground, when we're on our back, when we're on our belly, we're doing a lot of postural work. And because it's so important anyway with osteoporosis, this whole, rounded posture that can come into our body, we want to focus on that. So I'd like to do one of my favorite beginning postures or ways to begin. And they are postures, right? So we quite often call them poses. And I think that kind of, there's a lot that goes along with that word pose, like here I am, I'm posing. But in actuality, we are putting our body in a posture that is going to create forces and stimulation that will cause your bones to lay down more tissue. So it's more of a building. We're really focusing on building. And, we are either in a state of building or dissolving our bones all day, every day. Building, dissolving. We have building behaviors and dissolving behaviors. This is going to be a building behavior. The dissolving behaviors that could enter your practice are when we're not managing our mental energy, our psychological and emotional stress. So really commit yourself that you're going to be here doing this practice, mind, body, and soul, all of you that you can control or learn how to control. All right, so let's take the blanket and you're going to roll your blanket into really, the tighter you go, the stronger and deeper the opening will be. So I like to go pretty tight here. For those of you that have maybe some, you have rounding in your upper spine, you may need something else at the top. And then before we come to that, if you could sit in this position, it's called Hero's Pose. If you could sit here in Vajrasana, Heroes, on top of your heels, try that. If not, come into an easy seated crisscross leg position. I want us to arrive because you want to make this commitment and this intention that this is the time to practice. Everything else is gone, doesn't matter, and is not a part of this moment for you. So bring yourself here. Closing your eyes is going to help to bring you to this present moment. Begin with your eyes closed. Bring your awareness to your mouth is closed. You're breathing in and out through your nose. Noticing what you notice. Feel what you feel. Feel temperature. Feel tightness. Feel sensations. Feel your breath as it expands and contracts your torso. Feel the temperature on your nostrils as you bring the breath in and out of your body. Bring your hands right by your heart. So you feel the thumb edges of your hands pressing to your heart and your heart pressing to your hands. And press your palms together strongly. Add a little smile to your lips. With gratitude that we have these moments to take out for self-care. To direct and focus our attention and intention on being the strongest, healthiest version of ourselves. And then blink your eyes open, staying with that intention set for. Allow your tushy to be right on the mat near your blanket, and then coming to the side, reach your hand long to keep your spine nice and always with awareness on how am I moving my body, how am I placing my bag of bones around on a daily basis. Push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, let your tushy rest on the ground. Feel the blanket back behind your spine. Lift your head up a little and then lengthen the back neck. And here's where you decide, do you need more support for your head? Some of you may. You could fold your blanket more or get something else there. And then take your arms out to the side. So your knees are bent. Keep your knees bent. Take your arms out to the side. Close your eyes so you feel where you should go. Let your body be the guide. Feel what's appropriate for you to find yourself in, and then let your arms rest to the side. Take your feet a little body and allow your knees to fall in towards each other. Bring your awareness to your head here and do a little side to side. Go slow because the blanket is moving downward and it could be a pretty big stretch in the neck. So explore with your eyes closed. What is a safe movement pattern for you? Be in your neck. What's appropriate to you. And bring yourself back up to neutral. Let your head rest, arrange your back neck nice and long. And then begin to, with the eyes closed, slide the arms up a little higher. Keep the backs of the hands, the backs of the arms on the floor, and slide your arms up to where you feel the deepest and most appropriate stretch for you. Stretching the muscles of posture, the muscles of the upper body that help to support your head on top of your body. Bring your awareness to your rib cage. Mouth is closed. Breathe in and out your nose and feel the breath moving and expanding and stretching your chest. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through your nose. Notice what happens to your mind. When you bring yourself to quiet, what happens to your mind? It's important that you practice quiet throughout your day. Because if the first time you practice quiet is when you lay down at night to go to sleep, that is actually not going to set you up for healthy sleep. And we need healthy sleep for healthy bones. Because sleep is what processes a lot of our daily cortisol output. It's a major aspect of detoxification. And all of that is related to the health of your bones. So practicing quieting your mind, focusing on your breath, so important for your overall well-being. See if you can start breathing down to your low back. And I'm going to do a little bit of counting. To keep your mind focused, I'm going to do a rectangular breath count. It's called Savitri Pranayama. And when we count in this rectangular pattern, it actually keeps your mind occupied with counting and maybe even visualizing the shape of a rectangle so that you can tap into the area of healing, repairing, and restoring. So I'm going to do a count of 2, 4, 2, 4. And then I'm going to move on to 3, 6, 3, 6, and then allow you to count on your own. So let's prepare. Take a big exhale. Create a lot of space. And let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Adding on, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Continue on your own counting. Inhaling, holding your breath. Exhale, hold your breath out. Stay with your breath, stay with counting. Finishing the breath you're on. Take 3 more rounds. Stay focused on counting. The only thing you have to do right now is breathe. Finishing your last round. Giving your breath back to your body. Breathing in and out through your nose. Noticing the breath. Bring your awareness to your fingers and toes. If you'd like to do a little bit, lifting your arms a little higher, going into more of a deeper stretch, and if you'd like to explore straightening your legs, see if that's okay for your body, only doing what's appropriate for you. Reaching the hands overhead or a little bit out like the shape of the letter V to where you feel a pretty deep stretch. Fingernails touch the ground, point the toes towards the ground. And then flex the wrists so that the palms reach away from you and the heel of the feet reach away from you. Really stretch, stretch, stretch. And then go ahead and bend your body. Let's bend your knees. We're going to do a little to stretch the upper body. So roll onto your side so that the blanket is still at the back of your body. And then you're going to bring your arm. Let's do counterclockwise first. Get your arm to go around in a counterclockwise motion. Counterclockwise. Now, even for people with shoulder issues, this seems to be an okay and a healthy movement. And then let's go in the other way. Inhale when your palm is up towards the sky, and you exhale when your palm goes down towards the ground. You inhale when your palm goes up, and you exhale when your palm goes down. One more. And then bring yourself out. Clasp your hands behind your head. Elbows come together. The blanket is behind your head. The blanket is behind your head. Take an exhale. And then inhale to open up. Slide the elbow up towards the sky, the shoulder blade towards the spine. Try to open as much as you can. Keep your knees glued together. Exhale to close. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhale, open. Exhale to close. Last one, inhale to open. Stay here, elbow up, slide the shoulder blade towards your spine. The blanket's behind you. You can only rotate as much as you can. Notice where you feel the stretch on this side of your body. Knees stay together. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself back. We're gonna roll back onto the blanket. Knees are bent, and then you're gonna roll to the other side. And begin with counterclockwise, rolling your arm around. When your palm comes up, you inhale. When your palm rotates down, you exhale. Inhale, palm is up. Your arm, feel that it's appropriate. And then let's go the opposite direction Inhale when the palm is up, exhale when the palm is down. Whether you started counterclockwise or clockwise, I think I started clockwise at first. Doesn't matter. Inhale, palm is up. Exhale, palm is down. And then do one more. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring your hands behind your head. Exhale. And then you're going to inhale to lift your arms up and open to the side. Exhale, closed. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Slide your shoulder blade towards your spine, elbow to the side. Exhale back. And then one more, you're going to come open and you're going to stay here. Squeeze your knees together, really stretching. Feel wherever you feel the stretch here, maybe at the waist, maybe the armpit. And then bring yourself back. So we're going to push ourselves up from the side you're on. So bring your hand on the floor in front of you, push away from the ground, and bring yourself all the way up. And then I'd like you to come back to that seated position, whatever that is for you, kneeling or sitting in a cross-legged position. Bring your hands onto your thighs, close your eyes, just notice your body, notice how you're feeling. Always checking in. And then open your eyes. So let's take the blanket, opening your blanket to the natural fold. So the first couple of postures we're going to do are going to be on our back. We're going to do the, we're not supposed to forward fold when you have osteoporosis, right? Because really it's this part of the spine, the front part of the spine, we don't want to compress. So forward folding is counterindicated. So we're actually going to do 3 postures with a strap they are considered forward folds. But because we're lying down on our back in a supine position and we're bending our hip joint, it's okay to do because we're not compromising the spine in the way we would in a standing posture. So we're going to need our props for this. Make sure you have your props handy. Let's come down onto the ground. When you come down onto the ground, reaching your hand away, bringing yourself all the way down onto the ground. Knees are bent, feet are flat. Let's begin with a little warm up to the body before we start pulling and pushing on our bones and our muscles. Take your legs wide so that the soles of the feet, the heels are on your mat and the top part of your foot's off your mat. And then press your upper arm bones into the ground to lift your rib cage up and away from the ground to slide your shoulder blades towards the spine. So arranging yourself in a nice structurally aligned position. And then from here, open your arms out to the side, as high as your shoulders will let you. So the upper arm bone going a little higher, you're going to feel a little more stretch. Take a big exhale. Keep the soles of the feet on the floor. As you inhale, let your legs go towards one side, but don't let your soles come off the floor so you won't go far. Exhale, contract your core, push your belly button back towards your spine, back to center, and then inhale, other direction. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, other direction. Exhale, back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now we're going to start to go a little bit bigger. So on your next inhale, you're going to let your soles roll off the ground. Deeper stretch. Exhale, contract your core like you have a big juicy orange in your belly. Contract your core. Inhale, let your legs go to the side. Exhale, back to center. Another visual for core contraction is zipper up your belly like you're putting on a super tight pair of jeans. Inhale to relax, lengthen. Exhale, zipper up your midsection. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. The next time you come to the left, stay there. Let your head go to the right. Lift your right hand just barely off the ground. Flex your wrist. Reach your right hand long. Then push your right knee away towards the foot part of your mat and try to unbend the front of that right hip joint, stretching the heck out of your right side. As deep as you can. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself down out of that. Come to the other side, knees to the side. Flex the wrist, reach the hand away. Push your knees away from you or your knee away from you. Unbend that hip joint by pushing it straight up towards the sky. Not over towards the side, up towards the sky. Lengthening your side, not adding too much rotation. Flex your wrist. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Hold on behind the legs. Let's bend and unbend your knees. You could hold on to your legs or you could let go. A little bit more core work. If you want a little bit more core work here, stabilizing your pelvis while you're doing this action, try to get your top leg bone above your pelvis and your low back is off the floor and you're having to contract your core to stabilize your pelvis here. And you're going to start to feel heat in the quadriceps. If this is too much, have your knees a little closer, let the low back press into the ground. So do what's appropriate for you, and then start to flex your foot so the heel points up towards the sky, stretching the calf. And we're working the muscles of the leg, really important. The bigger and stronger your quads are, the bigger and stronger your femur bone will be. And then go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. Draw your knees in deeply and rock yourself side to side. Always raising your awareness to what's happening to the front of my spine. Am I pushing it into itself at the front? With anything you do, when you bring your knees in, this actually tilts the pelvis backwards. It adds flexion to the lower lumbar spine. So there is going to be more pressure towards the front lumbar. If you have wedge fractures in L1 or 2, which is the area that the wedge fractures happen, although I just worked with someone recently that had an L3 fracture. So you want to make sure that you're not pressing, you're not rolling yourself too much. So be really careful with your body, with whatever you're doing. Does it mean you cannot do certain things? No, it means you have to learn how to do them properly. And then let's put your feet on the ground. Go ahead and grab your strap. Let's come to the left leg first. So draw the left knee in, pull the left knee as close as you could get it to your heart. Bring your left foot up and then come as close as you can to your foot to put your strap on your foot. Then you're going to slide your hands down the strap. So this is going to be first of 3 postures that we're going to be doing. It's called Supta Padangusthasana number 1, which is big toe pose, because typically they would be grabbing their toe and stretching like this, like the super limber. All right, slide your hands down your strap, wrap your hands around your strap, pull your leg really deep so you actually feel a lot of pressure in the ground. Straighten the right leg if that's appropriate for your body. And then what you want to do is you want to firm up the muscles of the left leg and push the left leg away from you with the muscles. Activate the muscles to push the leg away. And let's begin this posture. Draw the leg towards the wall behind you. Try not to let your pelvis tilt and let your low back press into the ground. We're not trying to show ourselves how far back we can get our leg. It's not about that. It's keeping the knee straight. That's imperative because the knee is straight, so you're pulling on the tendinous part of your hamstring muscle, which is attached to your pelvis, and then we're going to create pelvic bone stimulation. Very strong here. Push your leg away and draw your leg towards the wall behind you. You're pulling back and pushing away. Opposing forces, lots of tension. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Let's do the right leg. So take your strap off, bring the right leg in, bend the knee, put the strap on the arch, slide your hands down,
Wrap your hands around. Pull the leg down into the ground so you feel that tension. Firm up the leg to push away from your body. And then straighten the left leg if that's appropriate for you. Pull the strap down, push the strap away, and now draw the leg towards the wall behind you. Really strong, strong action here. Right around the pelvic area where the leg attaches to the body, right where that top of the femur bone is embedded in the pelvis. Push away and pull. Push and pull. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and release. Let's take the strap off. That was Supta Padangusthasana number 1. Now we're going to do Supta Padangusthasana number 2. Draw the left leg in, unbend the leg, take the strap on the foot. Bring your left hand to hold on to the strap and slide your hand down pretty far. For those of you that are not quite super limber yet, you may need a block to manage the weight of your leg, or even a chair to manage the weight of your leg. Hold on to the strap, arms to the side. Now the key is this, that your leg stays to the side the whole time when it's going down to the ground, and it does not go forward. Okay, it goes to the side, not forward. This is not about getting closer to the ground. This is about left inner thigh being as far away from right inner thigh as possible. So take the right leg and lengthen it long if you can, and do what's appropriate for you. Have your elbow up to the side. Press your right leg into the ground to really get that nice structure, nice long left waist. Take an exhale, and then inhale to lengthen out to the side. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen to your appropriate place. When you find it, your elbow can help with the weight of the leg. Push into the strap, and the leg goes up towards the wall behind you. Push the right leg into the ground, left leg into the strap. You could take your hand on your right hip bone, firm up your core to help stabilize your pelvis. Nice long left waist. Leg is straight. Take one more breath. Firming up your core, draw that leg back up to center, bend the leg, bend the right leg, take the strap off. Let's go to the other side. Draw the right leg in, bend the knee, take the leg in the air, put the strap on the leg. Holding onto the strap in the right hand, and then straightening the left leg. Leg stays nice and high, the block if you need it. You're going to take an exhale and inhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen out to the side. When you're here, very active, push the left leg into the ground, really establish the left hip stabilized. You can put your hand on the left hip bone, pushing into the strap, leg is drawing up towards the wall behind you. Deep breaths. Last breath. And then bringing the leg back up to center. Nice and thoughtful with your movements. So the last one we're going to do in this is both legs together. So take your strap, draw your legs in, up, and put the strap on the arches. Bring your hands down the strap. Wrap your hands around your strap. Straight legs is what you need here. So this can be a challenge for some of you. If you don't have limber legs. Be body distance here, pushing into the pinky toe edges. Feet are as close to flat up towards the sky as you could get. Legs are straight. And then push the legs away from you, and at the same time, draw them back. Lower back may press into the ground here. That's okay. Push your heart forward. Push your legs away from you and draw them back. Feel a very intense stretch right where the legs attach to the buttocks or to the pelvis. Deep breaths. Feel that strong pull right where the pelvis is. Try to push your sacrum into the ground. Try to stabilize your pelvis. That'll deepen the stretch. One more breath. And then go ahead and release. Take the strap off, draw the knees into the chest. And then rest either with the knees bent, feet are flat, or coming into a straight leg position in a Shavasana. Whatever is appropriate for you. Take a couple of breaths here. And then go ahead and bend your knees. So we're going to move into the next 3 postures. First one we're going to do is the bridge. So let's take the blanket back away from your head, and you're going to grab your block, and you're going to put your block, actually, we're going to put our block underneath. So we're going to do 2 forms of bridge and 1 locust posture. So let's take the block, walk your feet back, and then lift your tushy up and place your block underneath your sacrum. Lift your head up, lengthen the back of the neck. Bend your arms, fingertips are up towards the sky, and lift your rib cage up, slide your shoulder blades close towards the spine. So setting yourself up here already in a back bend. Walk your feet closer to the block. Feet are about block distance. Push your feet into the ground. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, dig your arms into the block, dig your feet into the block, and lift your pelvis away from the block if you can. Keep lifting, 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 bringing as much of a back bend into your spine as you can. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Knees move away from you. Arms are helping you. Feet are helping you. Deep breaths here. Chin is towards the chest. And then bring yourself back down onto the block. Bring your hands down. Take a breath here to relax. And then lift your pelvis. Take the block out to the side. Bring the block between your knees. Walk your feet closer to your body. For some of you, you may be able to touch your heels. The feet are block distance. You're going to squeeze the block. Lift your head up, arrange your head. Lift your shoulder blades up and slide your shoulder blades towards your spine. Arms could be straight or arms could be bent. You decide. You're going to be stretching the front of your body, and we're going to be strengthening the back, pushing the backbones, the vertebrae into each other, creating compressive forces to strengthen your spine and to strengthen the muscles of posture and alignment. So tuck your chin towards your chest, arms press into the ground, squeeze the block, let the low back touch the ground, squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, inhale, push your hands and legs into the ground and peel your spine up 1 vertebra at a time. Do not look side to side, eyes are closed. Feel this in your body. Bring yourself up, squeezing the block, squeezing the tushy, pressing the arms and the feet into the floor. Very strong, strong posture. Push the back of your spine into itself to create bone building stimulation. On your next exhale, lower yourself down, placing one vertebra at a time onto the ground. Take your block off to the side. Bring your blanket underneath your head. And rest. Either knees are bent or feet are flat. When we use more muscles, we accelerate the heart. So notice if your heart's beating a little bit more. Breathe down to your belly. We're going to do our next posture, which is a twisted posture. Can be a little bit challenging. Now, this posture done in its state without a block is like this, where the legs rotate to the side, the torso stays up towards the sky. But that's actually a very intense version. So let's come into this version, unless you have a pretty strong practice and you're able to keep your ribs on the ground when you let your limbs go off to the side like that. So we could do this with a block. It helps to give a little bit of structure. And if you put the block between the lower legs at this level, so the middle level, not the narrow level and not the longest level, but you put it at the middle level, which is the sides, the longest sides of the rectangle. Place the block between. Now, if you're newer to the practice, bent knees may be a little bit more of a gentle way for you to come into this hover and hold here for 30 seconds. Or you may be able to come in with the unbent knees. So you decide what's appropriate for your body. It's very strong twist for the lower, it's more lumbar spine stimulation. So do what's appropriate for you. This is the one that can aggravate low back if you have low back. So go slow, do what's appropriate. Take your hands to the side to help support. Block is between your legs. Flex your feet. Let's take an exhale. Firm up your core as you inhale into this, and you're going to hover. Long waist, contracted core, support, support, support. Legs are straight or knees are bent, whatever you need to do for you. Try to keep your shoulder blades on the ground. Hearts up towards the sky. One more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. We're going to come to the other side. So take a break for a second if you need it. Draw the knees in. Block is between the lower legs. Flex the lower legs. Hands are to the side. Exhale. Firm up your core. And then inhale. Allow your legs to hover wherever you're going to have them hover. Keep your heart up towards the sky. Shoulder blades are on the ground. Torso is on the ground. Press your heart up towards the sky. Last breath. And then bring your legs back up to center. Take the block out to the side. Draw your knees into your chest. Bring your feet onto the floor, your hand onto your belly. Let your knees fall into each other. Take a couple of breaths here. Draw your knees into your chest. Roll onto your side. Press your hand into the ground and bring yourself up to seated.
So now we're going to do 3 more postures. Let's take the blanket onto the center of your mat. My earring came off. Don't want to lose that. Okay. So the blanket, near the lower third of your mat, so not necessarily the half, but the lower third. You're going to bring yourself onto hands and knees. Then you're going to bring yourself forward. And let's go ahead and grab our block. So we're going to have a block like this. You're going to bring yourself forward. We're going to do a dolphin plank. So bring yourself forward. Put your elbows underneath your shoulders. Your knees, if you need to keep your lower legs on the ground, go ahead and do that. If not, bring yourself up, flip your toes under, come into the dolphin plank. Keep your tushy in line with your spine, your head. Don't let your head hang. Push away from the ground with your arms, your forearms, and your feet. Take one more breath. And then slowly allow your pelvis to come to the ground, block off to the side. Bring yourself back so that your pelvis is on your blanket. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Head is lifted and forward. Draw your ribcage away from your pelvis as you lengthen down onto the ground. Come all the way down, let your forehead touch the ground. The arms go alongside your body. Walk your feet closer together so the big toes touch, hands touch your body. Now we're going to do locust. You could do this two ways. You could either do this with your hands by the side of your body when you lift yourself up, or for those of you that have a little more range of motion, you could bring your palms together and bring your hands together when you come up. So you choose. You're either going to have hands by the side or palms clasped. Take an exhale. Inhale, lift. Everything away from the ground. Try to get the soles of the feet to point straight up towards the sky, not in towards each other. And lift your arms up, lift your head up, lift your torso up. Compressive force for the back of your body, for your spine. More pressing the back into itself. Deep back bend, active back bend. One more breath. And then slowly bring yourself down. Fold your hands and rest the forehead on the back of the hands. Take your legs really wide. Flip your toes so that you're on the big toe edge of your feet. And then wiggle your pelvis side to side. One more breath down to your belly. And then take your arm long, roll onto your side. Take your hand in front of you. You're going to push yourself up and bring yourself all the way up. We're going to now do a full plank, which uses a little more upper body. Take your hands in front of you, palms are facing away. We're going to do a 30-second hold here. If you need to have lower legs in a modification of plank, try that. Otherwise, flip your toes under, lift yourself into a full plank, pushing away from the ground with your hands and your feet.
Feel the strength and the power in your body. One more breath. And then bring yourself onto your knees. Take your hands long. We're going to stretch our body. So you want the front of your spine to be open, not rounding whatsoever. When you come back, your arms are straight. You're going to come back in what's called puppy dog. You're bending at the hip joint, keeping your spine long. Your head is lifted. Shoulder blades are on the upper back to help prevent rounding of the thoracic spine. Hands can be wide or more narrow depending on what your range of motion is, and then place your forehead onto the ground. The bend is happening at your hips, not your spine. That's where forward folding should occur. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Bring yourself all the way up. The next three postures we're going to do them right here. So the first one, we're going to begin here, kneeling. So the next one we're going to do is a camel posture, which is a kneeling back bend. And this is also pressing the back of the spine into itself. So this is about rounding your spine, really trying to get this top part to round. So getting the shoulder blades in the back of the body to press and to lift, to open up, to stretch the front of your spine, to press the back of the spine into itself. It's not about how far back here you go. It's about how much do you bend your spine. So let's come here. For those that can do, if you can actually come and grab your heels when you do your camel. For some people, maybe you could come into a traditional camel. For others, I'd like to give some recommendations. You could take your hands right here, right where the sacrum is, the top of your pelvis, and make fists and push your fists down. Or you could take the heel of your hand, fingertips down, and press. So the heel of the hand is actually helping to press the top of the pelvis to get more of like a posterior tilt and a little bit of a release in that lower part of the back. So you do what's appropriate to you. The toes can be flat or you can bend the feet. Do whatever's appropriate. So get into your hand position that you're going to get into. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Keep pushing the elbows towards each other. Take an exhale. Soften your belly. Let your tailbone point down towards the ground as you add a back bend into your body. Don't let the head hang back. If you want to test, do some talking. Once your voice starts to get restricted, you know you've gone too far. Keep your throat open. Really lift your heart forward. Open up the front of your spine. Breathe down to your belly. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself up. We're going to come into a twist. So come off your blanket, fold your blanket. Bring your blanket to the top of your mat. Bring yourself onto your blanket, and then the block goes behind you, and come to the front edge of your blanket, reach under, grab a hunk of flesh, really expose your sits bones here. That'll help you to get a little bit better alignment. Take your left leg, bend your left leg, hold on and get nice and tall in your spine. So go from any kind of slouch position, using the hands to really get nice and tall. Active right foot, hold on to the left foot. Take your hand on the block behind you, using it to push off to get length in your spine. Exhale. Inhale, lower ribs,
Middle ribs and upper ribs, rotate, rotate, rotate. Shoulders down, elbows moving back, the elbow that's behind you, shoulder blades towards each other. Smile. Breathe deep to your belly. Active both hands. One's pushing down and away. One's using the leg to get a little bit of rotational force, or a lot of it. One more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Push the block over to the other side. Straighten that leg, bend the other leg. Hold on to the leg to bring that length into your spine. Hand on the block behind you. The hand on your leg really helps to get that lift in your chest. Take an exhale. Inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Active legs, active feet, long spine. Lower the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself tall and out. Let's take your blanket. So bring your blanket so that one buttock can sit on your blanket. You could fold this pretty high. Sometimes you could use a block here. So I'm going to start with the right side. I'd like to instruct it that way. It's easier for me, easier for you to follow along. So my right buttock is on the blanket and my right leg is going to bend so that my left heel goes underneath my left buttock and the blanket is underneath my right buttock. And then the left leg goes across my body. Now, if your knee doesn't like to bend, you'll sit on the blanket with both buttocks and take your right leg straight, still getting a little bit of this rotational force. And we'll need the block for this. The block goes behind us. So the block goes behind to push down to get length in the spine. Rotation in your spine is safe if you're lengthened and open in the front. But if you are collapsed in inflection in the spine and then you try to rotate, that's not good. That's grinding the front of the bones into each other, which is what we want to try to avoid. So the block is on the ground, push down to get length. Use the right hand, hold on to the left leg to get nice and tall. Take an exhale. Inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Deep breaths, always working with tension here. Lower ribs are rotating around, middle and upper, lowering the shoulders, sliding the shoulder blades towards each other, lifting the heart. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bring yourself out, unwind, block to the other side, untwist yourself, blanket over to the side. Now your left buttock finds the blanket. The left leg bends. The left heel goes underneath the right buttock, and arrange yourself. So you feel left heel on right buttock bone, and left buttock is supported by the blanket, and lift your leg up and over, the right leg up and over. The right hand goes on the block to push down to get yourself nice alignment. Take your left hand onto your right leg, push your legs into the ground, push your hand into the block to get nice and tall. Take an exhale. Inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Posterior hip capsule stimulation in this posture, spinal stimulation. So everything the DEXA scan reads is being pulled or pushed on right now. Lift your heart, lower your shoulders, slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Create those forces of bone building in your body safely. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Take a break between if you need. And we'll come into the next 3. Let's take your blanket and put your blanket in the middle of your mat. So for these 3, they're definitely pretty challenging. And I'm going to give you modifications for those of you that need this. We're going to do plank and side plank. And I'm going to count each side plank as a whole posture. So I'm going to do plank, side plank, side plank. Okay. So being near a wall may be the best thing for you because it can help for you to have something to reach up against. Also, a block for some of you may be what you need. I'd like to just show you these 3 because they're pretty challenging. So we know plank, and then the side plank is rolling onto the side and coming into this. So pretty challenging to do that. For those of you that need a modification, you could either do regular plank, or modified, this is modified. And if you need to do a modification for the side plank could be, it's more of a half moon posture, but still getting the lateral chain. So it could be that you come here and you come into this. So this could be your modification, one leg is on the ground. Or you could modify by coming into this, and if it is too intense, you could bring the front leg forward. So that's another modification for this. Lots of upper body. All right, so let's do the plank first. Bring your hands on the floor in front of you. Take one leg back, take the other leg back, come into a plank. Deep breaths here. Press your fingertips into the ground to distribute the weight in your hands. Press your heels back and press your pinky toe edges in so you distribute the weight. And then let's bring ourselves down. Take a break in between. Shaking your arms, shake your wrists. Notice the heart rate acceleration using a lot of muscles. Definitely a power move, the plank. Breathe down to your pelvis, down to your belly. And let's come into the first side plank. Have your hands be right underneath your shoulders. Pointer fingers are forward. Take one foot back and the other. Let them be right next to each other. Lift your pelvis up and roll onto the edge of your foot. And if you're going to do some other variation, do another variation. Let your hand be in the air. Push your feet into the floor a lot so that the lower body is doing a lot of this work. You're not hammocking. You're not hanging down in your low body. Really push the edge of your pinky toe into the ground. Long spine, lifted heart. Take one more breath. And then rolling through center, feet are together, hands are underneath, and let's roll to the other side. Push your foot into the ground. Really lift the pelvis up. Last breath. Bring yourself down, out, and rest. Closing your eyes if you'd like. Hands are on your thighs, elbows are underneath your shoulders. Feeling your heartbeat. Feeling how alive you are. And let's go down on the ground. Bring yourself onto the ground. So for today, I'd like to end with my legs up the wall. And if you're near a piece of furniture, a chair, a sofa, having your legs up the wall can be a really nice way to end the practice. So I'm going to bring my blanket here and bring myself up against the wall. So you do what you want to do, whatever feels appropriate for you. If you want to bring your knees into your chest or anything like that for a final, make sure the blanket's underneath your head and neck. Let your legs rest. Do any last minute wiggle jiggle or knees to chest, anything you want to do. Closing your eyes and going deep within.
Kariyam Dinnameya Kame Govinde Mukande Udareya Pare Hariyam Kariyam Dinnameya Kame Govinde Mukande Udareya Pare Hariyam Kariyam Diname Kame Govinde Mukande Udare Pare Hariyam Kariyam Diname Kame. Gently begin to bring your awareness to your breath and start to wiggle fingers and toes, rolling ankles and wrists, bending your knees, drawing your knees into your chest, and then onto your side. Take a couple of breaths here on your side. And pushing yourself up. Bringing your hands together at your chest. Press your heart to your hands to your heart. And then let the head go side to side, pushing one ear up towards the sky as you inhale, head back up to center. Inhale, the tip of the ear presses straight up towards the sky. Exhale back to center. Inhale, exhale. Come back to center, teeth are together. Inhale, exhale, chin straight down towards the chest. Inhale, chin up towards the sky. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, up towards the sky. Bring yourself back to center, eyes are closed. Exhale, inhale, as if you were looking over one side, but the eyes are closed. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, opposite direction. Back to center. Inhale. Bring yourself back to center. Sit nice and tall, hands press into the chest. We'll close with the letter M. Take a big exhale to create space. Inhale. Bowing in namaste, bowing in gratitude. Namaste. So that was actually, I believe, 5 sets of 3 with Shavasana. So that would be 16 postures that we did today. So I hope that it was appropriate for you. Definitely some of them are more challenging. Notice how you feel. And hopefully remember, sets of 3 seems to be a really nice thing to do. All right. And if you don't remember, don't worry, because I am definitely creating programming around this. Online courses, things like that. All right.
So I'd love to hear. Yeah, Donna, I know you love that and you're so strong. So I know that that would be really good for you. Adrian, hi from Chicago. Adrian, it's 87 degrees in Los Angeles today. Oh my goodness. What the heck? We're having like summer weather. I think it's 87 today, 81 tomorrow, 78 the next day. It's crazy. Okay, so subscribe to my channel, please, if you're not already. I need to get over that 1,000 person mark so I could start recording outside. I want to go do a class at the beach or at the cliffs overlooking the ocean or something. So I need to have 1,000 in order to use my phone for that. Good, Carolyn. Thank you. Lovely. Ooh, I love that word, lovely. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I know, and I know you love side plank, Carol, and you do it so well. But I have to say that I don't know that it's the posture for everyone. I think it's very hard, a very hard posture. And actually, it is a posture that helps with scoliosis. So Dr. Fishman did a study on that. There was an MRI done, and for 8 minutes, he held that posture. And what they observed in that 8-minute time frame when he did that was a shift in the curve of his spine because he has scoliosis. So it actually could be really great only on the one side that you have the curve. But anyway, it's this tough one. I mean, I tell you, when I was in it today on wow, my right hand, which was crazy, I felt so much shaking. My muscles were like, what the heck are you doing? I'm like, I'm making you stronger. All right. Anyway, I'm off. Subscribe, please. Like if you like this. I'll see you when I see you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.